Roll call, please.
Backnick,
Here.
Bertone,
Here.
Harrison,
Here.
Height,
Here.
Horton,
Here.
Pharisee.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, I do believe that was everybody. We're here this evening before we start, we're going to have a public hearing on a request by the Senate Properties. Mr. Dean Sasangas is on the call. He's requesting a zoning change of the property at 1185 St. Clair Street Extension, parcel 14A as an Adam, -025-0-00-019-0 from marine recreational to industrial. I don't know if Mr. Radishi has anything to offer before we turn the floor over to Mr. Sangus, and then if there's any comments from the public or council. But I'd ask Mr. Radishi if he has anything to add at this point.
Yeah, he's on mute there.
Try that again. All right, I'm sorry. I have nothing to add to it.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Mr. Sangus, would you like to address council?
Yeah, just appreciate, with everything going on with this whole COVID thing, you guys did a great job putting this on the fast track as far as, rezoning this from the marine recreational to industrial. We're actively looking for another tenant. The current Cosmic Pet, they actually vacated a few weeks ago. They still have some inventory but in the building, but pretty much they vacated. So if you see any activity there, we're looking to do improvements, painting, outside, inside, getting it ready for a new tenant. So anybody that comes in, whether it's a new tenant or we might have somebody that wants to buy the building, one of the things that they're really going to want is to make sure that they don't have any landlocked or have land behind them, the 2 acres that's zoned for something different. So in case they want to look for expansion or something. So this will really help as far as, clearing the way for making sure there's no roadblocks for any future activity there. So we're trying hard to get things going over in that building again.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So at this time, I'd open it up to council before I think we get two questions come in. Chris, is that correct? Is that all I saw?
Only 2 emails, yes, Mayor.
Okay,
Yes.
so after the council, the portion here, we'll go ahead and we'll read those questions.
Mayor, it's Tony.
Yes, sir.
So just a couple of questions. So first, I have questions for Mr. Zangus and then questions for David. So first one will be for David, and then I'll give a response, and then I'll go into the next question, if that's okay. David, what's your recommendation? So, publicly as a statement and reviewing this project, what are your thoughts with respect to the request, and what would your recommendation be?
My recommendation is to.
For David Rand.
I'm sorry? David. Oh, okay. I was wondering why you were asking me. Okay. Yeah. I would recommend.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Staff's recommendation. Sure. I'm on mute. Off mute. Okay. Staff recommendation is to approve the change. It is adds property to the property that he already owns. Mr. Zangus owns this piece of property along St. Clair, and if somebody wants to use it for industrial purpose, now we'll have the ability to do so.
And Dave, is there any downside to changing to this? Let's say this is still a separate parcel as it sits now, and it's not merged to the other side. Are there any downsides or any cons, in your opinion, to having this be an industrial site as opposed to marine industrial, which are similar, but any?
It's actually marine rec, not marine industrial.
Okay, marine rec. Okay, so very different.
It is a different marine industrial will give some industrial uses. Marine rec is all rec issues, things. The only downside, if it doesn't combine or doesn't get some sort of access to High Street, is that there's no sanitary sewer along St. Clair Street. That's the only downside. It can be utilized with the rest of the land without any issues. They would have to either give fee simple to High Street or give an easement for sanitary sewer if they want to sell the property off separately and utilize it for an industrial building of some sort. Parking and storage and the like is no problem for the use on the property.
Okay. Thank you, David. So I want to make sure we got your recommendation in public for everybody who might be watching this. And so, Mr. Zangus, then my question for you would be, if this is done, do you intend to dissolve that property line, or are you going to sell that? Let's say you sell the property, are you going to sell that parcel with the property, or would you sell that parcel separately?
Right now, if somebody comes in, there's a very good chance that they're just going to buy the building and the 5 acres that that building is sitting on right now. Our family, Senk Properties, actually owns the 2 acres in the back in question here, as well as an adjacent 5 acres to, I forget what direction that is. It's south, I think. So south of the building, there's an additional 5 acres. So right now, primarily, it's the building on the 5 acres. But we might have somebody that comes in and might be interested in buying the whole, all the property. Or if they only buy that one and they want to expand, obviously we can work with them on selling them the land behind to build on. And we just want to make sure that it's already zoned properly for them.
So typically when we do these things, though, we want to see what the development plan would be for that. So we don't have somebody that comes in, we change it to industrial use. We don't want to have somebody coming in that's, I'll throw out something extreme, but these are things that can happen. So if someone wants to come back and start playing with chromium, go on that site, which we could probably do in an industrial use, we wouldn't have the ability to discourage that anymore. So without a development plan or deed restrictions or anything like that, there is a liability to the village, of course. So I think that's something for all the council to consider, even though I think that this all looks like it makes sense, but those are the things I think we need to think through here real quick. So if you're not going to dissolve that property line and you are selling it separate, maybe the next.
It is a separate parcel at this point. Yes, we're not putting it together with a package as far as the way you're speaking right now.
So my next question would be for Mr. Lyons, and you've heard that, Dave. I'm sorry, you've heard that, Mr. Lyons. What would protect us in that instance, back with a use that might not be exactly what we would want to see there, an extreme use like that? Any recommendations or?
Don't rezone it. I mean, that's the only way to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the property owner could voluntarily put deed restrictions on it, but
I know that's difficult.
right.
If I may,
Just wait until he finds out exactly what's going to happen. I think the village is pretty interested in accommodating business down at that location.
I agree.
Mr.
I mean, I don't know if Dave has anything else to add, but once you rezone property without any, and you can't put restrictions on it, it's whatever is allowed in our zoning code at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of things on that. One, you have to, there's other vacant properties in Fairport Harbor that are zoned industrial, and they would be required to come in for a site plan approval before you would approve it. The uses that are currently on the books in Fairport Harbor really do need to be reviewed and changed to make sure that they are uses that Fairport Harbor wants in their community. And so that would actually be the item that you really need to do is change your uses. You may be able to stop the zoning on this particular piece of property, but there are other vacant lots in Fairport Harbor or zone industrial that they can do the chromium dumps or whatever. Currently, we need to review the zoning, and that's what would really protect the village, as opposed to just not rezoning this property or putting deed restrictions on this property.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that that use would come in here. You know, we're against the river, sort of. We're against Lake Metro Parks property. And, you know, I'm just trying to think worst case scenario, what happens. I would like to try to find a way to get this done without a development plan. But I also want to make sure that the village is protected so that,
they can present you a development plan and you could rezone it and they could sell it to somebody else and that person can bring in a new site plan. So approving based on a development plan is not going to really protect the community.
Sam? Okay, so those are the questions I have. Just wanted to put them on the table so that, and again, I don't think someone's going to come in and want to put chromium, but there could be something that we're not thinking about that could happen. So maybe what we do is take a look at that list, and maybe what we need to do is approve. Once we approve the zoning change here, it's hard to go back to retroactively change what's an allowable use there to protect a little bit.
Actually, you can. If the property is vacant and you change the uses, then those are the uses that are of record. If they start the use prior to them, you changing the uses, then they become grandfathered or legal non-conforming.
So that may be a next step that we need to take a look at this. I don't want to limit this so the Zangus family cannot sell it. Just want to make sure that, again, we're being aware of what we're doing. Especially since we're going recreation to industrial.
Hey, Dave, it's Vern Horton here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there really isn't any river access to that property. The only time there's ever water on that property is when the river floods and there's a backwater. So really, in my mind, there isn't a recreational use unless Metro Parks wanted to expand their park facility.
I would have to agree with that. There is no direct access to the property to the river.
And the property on the other side of St. Clair is actually industrial, zoned for industrial as well.
Which is realized as we consider that. That's a good point.
Thank you, Dave.
No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bertone. Mr. Horton, do you have any other questions?
I do not, Mayor.
Is there any other questions from council?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm having a little trouble hearing certain people, you and Vern and Mr. Lyons. Next time, I'm sure I'll have to get some kind of a different system, but I can hear everybody else pretty well. Just saying, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So, Chris, do you want to read the questions then that came in from the public?
There were just two messages related to this issue. One from Lee Negrelli, who writes, while I understand the desire to be attractive to potential businesses, we cannot create more green space or replace natural habitats of local wildlife.
Okay.
The other email is from a Kathy Chitty, and she writes, I would like to know if there has been an environmental impact study on the parcel of property between our pets and the Metro Parks property off of St. Street that is under consideration for rezoning? If not, there should be an environmental presence and habitats of many of our native species of animals and plants are being erased and ignored in an area and locale that so depends on the natural beauty and the balance of the ecosystem. We need to protect all that we have. That so ends her email.
Okay, thank you. Dave, can you respond to the, I mean, I know there wasn't an environmental impact study done at this point. And I would imagine if there was one at some point, it would be if there were to be some type of a development. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. They would need to do an environmental study if they were to develop the property and go through the Army Corps of Engineers, soil and water, and your village engineer. Also, I did look at the property, back old air photos. This property was developed at one point of some buildings and was used for some sort of boat storage at one point. And so the property is not in a pristine condition. And that's one of the items that they do check on an environmental study, is to see what the property was used for previously. And then they check wetlands, they check streams and floodplains, and a couple other things.
Okay, and to be clear, if the rezone is granted, that impact study still would be done, correct?
Correct. When they
Okay.
develop the property.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, it's Vern. The question for
Yes, sir.
Dave. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but would we have to have, wouldn't we at least require a phase 1 EPA study of that property before it was developed?
That is correct. You would, an EPA study would need to be done before they were able to pull a zoning permit, building permit, and soil erosion control plan. And I think the village engineer would need to also have it also.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Just to the point there that a phase 1, just so the audience is clear, whoever may be listening, the phase 1 isn't going to be to study wildlife or anything like that. It's going to study if there's any chemicals on that property currently. That's generally what those are done for. It's an environmental study to make it suitable to build or reside on. And that's all the
Thank you
information.
for that clarification. Good, thank you for that clarification. Well, if there's no other comments or questions on this, I will move to close the public hearing and start our regular council meeting. Do I need any official action, Jim?
Normally, you just take a vote on that, so to close the public hearing, and then
Okay.
you go to regular council. So,
Horton makes it a motion.
Yes, thank you. So we have a motion from Horton to end.
Bertone, second.
Horton. Bertone.
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
On the
Aye.
motion to end. Saracen. Aye. Harrison.
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sangus, if you hang out with us just a little bit longer, we'll actually be voting on this here when we get down to legislation, but we're going to go into our regular council meeting.
Okay.
I need to have a motion then to approve the regular council meeting held June 16th, 2020.
Saracen makes the motion.
Horton is a second.
Saracen.
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. From our solicitor this evening, Mr. Jim Lyons.
No report, no report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. For me this evening, there's a noise variance for the use of Finn Hollow Park from noon to 6 p.m. on Saturday, the 8th of August. Do we have, I was going to ask for times, but I just read it. That's from noon to 6.
Yes.
So do we have a
And
motion for that?
Mayor, they've also, after the
Yes.
packets come out, they requested 2 more dates for the variant, August 15th and August 22nd as well.
So I got August 22nd, and what was the other date?
August 8th, August 15th, and August 22nd.
Okay.
Amy, does that give them enough time to set up and take down both?
I believe so. Yes.
I'll make that a motion, including all those dates. Horton,
Heights, second.
Horton,
aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, from our administrator, Amy Kosick.
Okay, well, we'll go through this quickly. The Lake County Board of Commissioners announced the proposed funded with the fiscal year 2020 allocation of the Community Development Block Grant Program. I am happy to report that Fairport Harbor received $265,000 fund phase 1 of our streetscape project, High Street from 3rd to 4th. The notice of the projects that were funded throughout Lake County are included in your pack. When we receive the funding in the fall, I'll be meeting with their director on all the particulars. We'll be able to bid out the job and then start the project in the spring of 2021. Our consumer confidence report went out, the 2019 report was delivered to our water customers via the mail and is posted to our website. The CCR is also posted at the public library, the Village Hall, Vasco's Supermarket, and the Senior Center. For meetings, the mayor and I met with the new executive director for the Lake County Port Authority, Dave Anderson. We briefed Dave on a number of projects that we had in motion prior to the pandemic, and we are hopeful that these will continue to move forward. We also had a meeting with all the Senior Center volunteers to discuss steps on how to safely provide programs for our seniors, and we're making progress on that front as well. I attended the July 15th public hearing held by the Lake County Commissioners in regards to the Community Development Block Grant to thank them on behalf of Fairport Harbor for the funding. I also attended a business retention and expansion meeting with the Lake County Port Authority, and I participated in a webinar for tourism to learn about grant opportunities for future marketing efforts. As far as media and events, the News Herald has run several articles in June and July covering our 4th of July house decorating contest, our parade through the village zoning proposal by St. Properties. I included those articles in your packets. Also, thank you to everyone who participated in our first 4th of July house decorating contest. First place went to 501 New 4th, second place went to 219 Eagle Street, and third place went to 223 7th Street. I also want to extend a special thank you to Fairport Harbor Men's Civic Club for donating and to the Fairport Harbor Creamery for donating $20 gift cards to all of our contestants. As a side note, and I forgot to add this to the packet, but Fox 8 and Channel 5 also recently ran a story on the creamery collecting donations for the lighthouse. So Karen Volzer and Mary Alice were both on TV, and they were both really nice segments. So it was a really nice piece. Finally, we're going to get down here to the Shoreline Special Improvement District. The commissioners are working toward the creation of a shoreline special improvement district in and around Lake County to provide residents with a new method to finance erosion abatement projects along the Lake Erie shoreline. They're requesting that at least one property owner from each community complete a creation petition in order for all communities to take the first round of legislative action to form the special improvement district. Now, unlike Mentor and East Lake, we do not have residential homes situated directly on the shoreline. To participate in this SID, we could utilize parcel 40050000400, which is highlighted on the Lake County GIS map that you received. Through conversations with the Metro Parks, we have determined that this parcel, which does have erosion issues, would be a suitable option for the SID. Now, on the line tonight, we should have Amanda Gordon from McDonald Hopkins. Amanda is advising the county on this project, and she's going to be available to answer all of your questions, which I'm sure you'll have some. Amanda, are you on the line with us this evening?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join by video. I was having an issue doing that, so hopefully everyone can hear me by phone okay.
Yes, we can. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, just briefly, and Amy, great job describing where we were and where we're going. You know, I'm certainly here to answer whatever questions there may be, but we were looking for at least one parcel per community that's required by statute in order to meet the contiguity requirement of the Ohio Revised Code. So it sounds to me like Fairport Harbor does have an identified parcel to be involved, at least the one. So that's excellent news. We will have a procedure to follow that's set forth in statute where there will be a petition signed by, I didn't know, Amy, was that the Metro Parks, did you say, was the owner of that property, or is it the village?
That actually, the village owns that parcel.
Okay, great. So what we would end up doing is having the village essentially then sign the petition to form the SID. That would be passed by council, and then it would be that would be utilized then by us to help form the SID. And you know, I can go into more about what the SID is and you know, a bunch of the legal stuff if that's what you need. But you know, I'm certainly happy to you know, answer whatever questions that you have, or kind of go over generally the nature of what we're doing, et cetera. But I don't want to take up more of your time than you would like me to, and I certainly just want to make sure that I answer the questions that you have involved.
Thank you.
Sure.
So does council have any questions?
Mayor, Mr. Horton, just a comment. I know I want to thank Amy and the commissioners. The Streetscape project has been a pipe dream for most of council for years. I can't believe they finally approved it. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Vern. It's very exciting. It'll be very excited to get it started.
Yeah, can we send them, or can we have a resolution made up at the next meeting that we can send to the commissioners?
Sure.
Also, with respect to the Volzers, helping out the lighthouse, it was a Saturday, early Saturday afternoon, they gave me a call with respect to raising funds for the lighthouse. By the end of that evening, I think they had already had maybe $1,000 in their account, ready to donate to the lighthouse. And even though that's an organization, and I think they're up over 4,000 or maybe 5,000 at this point, but even though that's an organization that leases that facility from us and maintains it and runs it and has a great program there. It's still part of our heritage, and it's something that is owned by the village. And I would also like to recognize them if council and mayor and administration would do that and have a resolution for the goals next council meeting as well. They've done a lot in a short amount of time. They also raised, on top of that money, they sent out a letter to many of their friends to see if anybody would donate to replace some of the mechanical system, and they were able to get somebody to donate $2,500 for that as well. In addition to all of the publicity that we received from Channel 8, which is not only good for the village, but the county.
I agree.
I'll second that, Tony.
Thank you, Vern.
Okay, do we need a motion? Will we need a motion to enter into that contract or into that SID?
We won't, go ahead, Ian. Sorry.
Could you please repeat that?
We will provide you legislation at a later point. We now that we have the parcel identified, we'll be sending out the documentation that will need to be executed, and then with that will be the form of resolution. So I would anticipate that coming out later yet this month, and then can be taken up at your next council meeting.
Now, Amanda, I have a quick question
Yes.
for you. If the village wouldn't have a project on this particular parcel, but say there is a project going on for a resident in East Lake, does that affect Fairport Harbor in any way through this SID? Are we affected by that?
No, because each property that is involved that a project is constructed upon, that will be the property that will be assessed for that particular improvement. But you will be, as we discussed, you will be part of the SID, and you'll have representation on the SID board. But until the project is commenced upon your property, until and unless that's done, there wouldn't be any assessment, special assessment on that property.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if nothing else for Amy, I would like to add my thanks again for the streetscape project. Like Mr. Horton said, it's been a dash dream of many of us for many, many years. I mean, I think it's probably been a couple of administrators have tried. I certainly prepped Amy for the bad news that I thought that would come with this request. And I, like you, were very pleasantly surprised and very thankful for it too. I think it's a big deal for the village. It really showcases Amy's skill set and just the hard work that she's doing for us. So Amy, thank you for persevering on that, and and just your good work in general. The village is so much better with you. So my many thanks.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, Clyde, you get to follow that.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
You're welcome, sir.
Thanks, Amy. We have been trying on that streetscape for a while. Thank you very much for helping push that through, and the commissioners as well. A couple updates on projects. The water plant, we're finalizing those plans right now. It appears that OPWC is now able to fund this round of projects, so we're moving forward on the water plant project. The East Street project, as you know, that started a few weeks ago. We did meet today with Dominion Gas Company just to make sure we didn't have any issues with conflicts. Sounds like that's not the case. We did get New Fourth, York, and Joggin, those stub streets paved a few weeks ago. They look pretty good. And the water line work will begin next week. Scheduled to begin on Monday, the 27th, and then following that will be the storm sewer work and everything else. So, anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks.
Thanks, Clyde, and thanks for the work on the stub streets there. That's been a thorn for a lot of residents for a lot of years.
Hey, Clyde, this is Jerry. How long do you think that will take from Monday till it's completed?
I don't think this is going to be a very long duration project, Councilman. I think the water line's probably going to take a week or less, and then the storm sewer probably be 2 weeks or so, and then we'll be doing pavement repairs. So we're probably looking at less than a month to complete this work.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else
You're
for
welcome.
Clyde? Okay, from our fiscal officer, Chris Paquette.
I've provided a fund summary, revenue summary, and expenditure summary. We look pretty good. We've actually improved our position a little bit on revenue, according to the RETA. It looks like collections are going to be a little closer to normal. I have included legislation to cover amended appropriations to cover the cost of stormwater repairs on Orchard and Cortland Orchard area. Those funds will be reimbursed by the county. And the amended appropriations also shows transfers and appropriations for the OPWC projects. According to the auditor's bulletin, I must put the OPW project funds in a separate account, so I'm reusing 4916 and 4904. And you'll see those transfers in legislation tonight also. And I provided a summary payment listing for council. If there are any questions, happy to answer them. If not, email me anytime. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? All right, and a special thanks to you too, Chris. I know you've been keeping a tight eye on the budget. You've answered a ton of questions that I've had and Amy has had as we've gone along with this, as well as the chiefs. So good work with keeping an eye on our finances. There is no old business. Safety committee reports. Mr. Searcy?
Talking to Chief Leonard, everything seems to be going, and I have to say we're so lucky to have a police department and fire department that we have in Fairport. After you see what's going on in our country, we should be very proud.
Thanks, Frank.
Yes. Any questions for safety or the reports that were in the packet from anyone?
I don't have a question for safety, but I do have a comment because I got another phone call today on 2 properties with grass about 1.5 feet, 2 feet high. So, Chief, I can either text you or tell you those 2 numbers are both on Vine Street. And then also, Amy, at the end of Paradise Court, that pothole is back. I know we fixed it, Clyde, a year ago when we re-chipped that, but at the very end of Paradise Court, there is that big potholes coming back again.
Okay, we'll take a look at it.
Got it.
Is that towards Vine?
No, towards Chestnut. It's right at the end of Chestnut.
Gotcha.
I think it's the same place that we had to put the cone in a year ago.
Okay.
And for the record, why don't you just read off the addresses for
Okay.
the tall grass?
624 Vine and 703 Vine Street.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry, I think we've sent letters on those already, but I'll verify when I get back to the office.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, if nothing else, I need a motion to pay the bills.
So moved, Saracen.
Second.
Second.
Saracen,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye. Sorry, forget the mute.
Bertone,
Bertone, aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-33, a resolution requesting the Village of Fairport Harbor share of county coronavirus relief distribution funds and affirming the use of those funds to be expended only to cover coronavirus costs in a manner consistent with the CARES Act and declaring an emergency.
Bertone, move to adopt.
Backnick, second.
Bertone, suspend the rules.
Backnick, second.
On the motion to suspend, Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton, Saracen,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Saracen,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-38, a resolution submitting to the electors of the Village of Fairport Harbor the question of the renewal of an existing 3 9/10 mil 5-year police tax levy and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt, Horton.
Second, Saracen.
Move to suspend, Horton.
Second, Saracen.
On the motion to suspend, Horton,
Aye.
Saracen,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Horton,
Aye.
Saracen,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye. Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-39, a resolution submitting to the electors of the Village of Fairport Harbor the question of a renewal of an existing 2 5/10 mil 5-year fire equipment tax levy and declaring an emergency.
Move to
Move to
adopt.
adopt, Horton.
Second, Bertone.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second, Bertone.
On the motion to suspend, Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracen,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracen,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-040, a resolution submitting to the electors of the Village of Fairport Harbor the question of the renewal of an existing 1 9/10 mil 5-year road tax levy and declaring an emergency.
I make a motion.
Second, Horton. Gotta suspend.
Motion,
Christina.
motion to suspend.
Second.
On the motion to suspend, Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2020-42, an ordinance to amend appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Fairport County, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020 and ending December 31, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt, Bertone.
Second, Harrison.
Move to suspend, Bertone.
Second, Harrison.
On the motion to suspend, Bertone,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Bertone,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye. Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2020-43, an ordinance authorizing the rezoning of a 2.01 acre parcel at 1185 St. Clair Street Extension, parcel 14A-025-0-00-019-0 from marine, recreational to industrial.
Horton moves to adopt.
Backnick, second.
Horton moves to suspend the rules.
Backnick, second.
Motion to suspend, Horton,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you. On the motion to adopt, Horton,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor? This is
Yes,
Bertone.
sir.
So as a follow-up to that, I'd like to make a motion to direct David Radich to do a study of our zoning uses in the industrial area, to come back to make recommendations to make sure that we protect ourselves forward. Have a
I will
David, you-
second that, Mr. Bertone.
have a report. Thank you, Vern, and have a report ready for the next council meeting.
Dave, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm still on the line.
Will that be doable within a month?
I believe so. I will have to, yeah, I can do it in a month.
Are you sure? Or do you want a little more time? And it's up to council if they'd like to give you more time, but I don't want to put too much on you.
I should be able to get a list of a list of uses, a preliminary use of uses, and then we can bear down on that use of uses. But I would recommend sending it through the planning commission to study the issue and then have them report back to you.
I agree. I think that list would be good to come to council, though, as a start, and as you send it over to the planning commission. And then I challenge you to say that use of uses 5 times fast.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we talking only this one property, or you made mention that we should probably take a look at our uses on some of our other vacant properties? So, I mean, is this all vacant properties? Are we talking about just this one for the next month, or are we going to come up with a plan moving forward?
Motion would be for industrial use. So it would incorporate any property that has that industrial tag. If we want to do something else with other zoning, I think we do that after, because I don't know that Dave would have the ability to do that within a month, but zoning.
That's okay. That's fine. I just know he mentioned there were a couple other industrial properties in town that should be looked at, if I remember correctly from earlier in the meeting. So
that would cover all of it. So
okay.
that, I think.
I agree with Mr. Bertone. We need to take baby steps here. Get a recommendation from Dave and give him our input. Revising the zoning is kind of a serious matter. So I think we should all do our due diligence with Dave's guidance and the Planning Commission's guidance, and I'm sure Mr. Bertone agrees with that.
Yes.
Okay, Amy, how does that timeline work with planning? Because I believe we have a meeting scheduled for next month.
The next Planning Commission meeting is August 11th.
Okay. So again, I asked Dave, are you going to have something by August 11th for planning?
Mayor, I'm sorry, Mayor, this would just be a list to come back initially to council, take a look at it. That would be time to send it to planning after that.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, then we'll let Amy and Dave work through that, and then we'll have something prepared for council, and then Amy will get it on the Planning Commission's agenda then.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're being timely to the request that was made.
Mr. Mayor, I will get a report on how I'm going to go about creating this list. So, and have Amy send that to the council members so they have an idea how I'm going to develop the list. So they would have something to be prepared for when I do send them the list for council meeting.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Thank you, Mr. Bertone.
I think Jim's got.
We can hear you, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
I think it would be a good idea to also have a list of the uses of the current industrial properties, because if you eliminate one of those uses, you're necessarily grandfathering them. And I think council should know if they're going to be grandfathering a particular use. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that was for the second.
All right, very good.
We need to have a roll call on that. That was a motion with a second motion by Bertone, second by Horton. So we need to have a roll call so that we make sure that it happens.
Sure.
Bertone,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Heights.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Resolution number 2020-044, resolution appointing Alexander Hearn as a firefighter for the village of Fairport Harbor, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt, Cersei.
Heights, second.
Move to suspend.
Second.
On the motion to suspend, Saracy,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Wait, I'm muted. Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Saracy,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-45, a resolution to transfer funds from the Water Department, a Water Operating Fund 5101 to the OPWC Water Plant Improvement Fund 4916 and declaring an emergency.
Horton moves to adopt.
Harrison, second.
Horton to suspend the rules.
Harrison, second.
On the motion to suspend, Horton,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Aye.
Pharisee,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Horton,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Pharisee,
Aye.
Backnick.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-46, a resolution to transfer funds from the Street Construction Fund 2011 to the Road Levy 2907 and or to the other Capital Projects Fund 4904 and declaring an emergency.
Heights, move to adopt.
Backnick, second.
Heights, to suspend the rules.
Backnick, second.
On the motion to suspend, Heights,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Pharisee,
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Heights,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Pharisee,
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution number 2020-47, a resolution confirming the appointment of Kyle J. Oshner as a Special Police Officer, Step 2 for the Village of Fairport Harbor, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Cersei to adopt.
Heights, second.
Suspend, Frank.
I'll move just motion to suspend.
Heights, second.
On the motion to suspend, Pharisee,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye. Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Pharisee,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2020-48, a resolution advancing Eric C. Sharp to Class A Police Sergeant for the Village of Fairport Harbor, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Cersei to adopt.
Heights, second.
Cersei to suspend.
Heights, second.
On the motion to suspend, Pharisee,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison, Harrison.
Aye.
Thank you. Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Aye.
On the motion to adopt, Pharisee,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Backnick,
Aye.
Horton.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have anything else this evening. Does anyone else from council?
Yes, Mayor, just a quick one. And this is just sort of a message to the residents. With all the things that are going on in the world right now and how crazy it seems, and people get scared, wonder where we're going. And we, as a local government, probably the closest that folks get to government on an everyday basis. So I'd like to remind everybody, we're a 26 Gold Star member community. Fairport Harbor is a good representation of what America is. We are a good country. We're a fair country, always been, despite all the garbage that you hear that we're not good. We are good. Don't fall for it. Don't believe it. Tell your children, tell your neighbors we're good. Stand up for our country. Don't let them tear us down. We will survive this. We're going to survive the virus. We've been through a lot worse. We've had countries try to lob bombs at us. We've fought many wars. We come out on top, and we're going to come out on top. But please, residents, and we are good. And Mayor, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Bertone. Okay, if nothing else.
Oh,
I
no,
would
it's
make a
my
motion.
turn.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Horton.
I don't, and you know, and Tony knows, we don't always agree, but I agree with Tony 100%. We seem to be moving along the same lines. The village, through all of this, we're moving forward. Everybody else has moved backwards. We're moving forward. That has a lot to do with this council, with you, Mayor, and with Amy, and I appreciate all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vern.
Thank you. Okay. If nothing else, stay safe. I need a motion to adjourn, guys.
So moved. Harrison.
Heights, second.
Harrison,
Aye.
Heights,
Aye.
Bertone,
Aye.
Saracy,
Aye.
Horton,
Vern, you're muted.
Macknick.
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
everybody.
adjourned at 1940.
Good night. Thank you for your time.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Night,
Thank you,
folks.
everyone.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get together again.
I know.
Yes, sir.
This is the best Frank has looked in a long time, though.
Second that. Goodbye.
Hey,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.